What's up, guys? Jeremy Marquez here with J Marketing, Power Prospecting, real estate cold call coaching, training, and consulting for agents, brokers, teams, assistants. My job is to help you guys be better with your cold calling, create more business for yourself, for your business. So, it's been a while since I've done any sort of marketing for Power Prospecting. I wanted to go ahead and do a quick live and break down a call that I made earlier on the other part of my business, which is we call you close. So let me break it down. Let me turn off the fan real quick. All right, guys. All right. So, so my coaching and training program, basically, if you're a real estate agent or a broker, or if you have an assistant or a team, then you're looking to get better at your cold calling. I have a training program where we work one-on-one, and I teach you my process, my system, my trade secrets, everything that I've been doing for the last 5+ years with my main company, J Marketing. We call you close. Part of the program is I will listen to your calls, and I'll break it down and I'll give you tips and things like that. The big part of the program is we do a live call training. So you're making calls, we're in a Zoom or a Hangout, and in between calls we'll talk about it and I'll give you tips and things like that and help you get better with your calling. So what I'm going to do right now is break down a call. So this morning I was calling for rent by owners. For rent by owners, otherwise known as for rent by owners. So basically you're calling investors. We call people property owners, landlords, folks that have properties for rent. And we are calling them to see if they would consider selling that property compared to renting if they can get the right price, right? It's a really, it's a good target, especially right now with the market the way it is. With everything being so hot, every single investor out there has considered selling their property. A good strategy you could use when you're talking to an investor is you're helping a lot of investors sell their investment properties and buy two more. All they want to do is really continue to build their portfolio up. So it's a business call compared to like an expired or a for sale by owner or geo prospecting where you're calling a homeowner about the home that they live in. So they have that emotional attachment. They're attached to that property, right? So RedX and other platforms provides for rent by owners. For rent by owners is a business call. It's a business conversation that you're having with an investor. So I was calling some this morning, had some good conversations, ended up talking to a gal who the property's in a trust, but they have several properties in a trust because there's several family members who are part of the investments. So it's in a trust, but she makes the decisions. So she's been talking with her partner. I don't know what the relation is, that doesn't matter. They've been talking about selling the property, but in their mind, she said they're about 90 days out. But in real estate, that means that if the numbers made sense, that they'll go ahead and do it now, right? Always think that. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the call, and we'll break the call down here. If you're just tuning in, go ahead and say hello in the chat.
I was trying to reach Roger or Chelsea. Speaking.
So I got her right away. And guys, this is only a 3-minute call.
I was reaching out about the property that you guys have for rent on Wikias Meadows. This is Jeremy with Coldwell Banker. Did you get that rented or is it still available?
So calling about the rental. So in her mind, she's like, okay, calling about the rental. Then I'm breaking it down saying, okay, I'm with Coldwell Banker. So now she knows that I'm not a tenant. Now it's a business call, okay? Then I was calling to see if it's still available. So that's what I'm telling her introduction, who I am, why I'm calling. Then I end with a question, always.
Yes, what is rented?
Let me back it up a little bit.
Okay. Well, that you guys have for rent on Wikias Meadows. This is Jeremy with Coldwell Banker. Did you get that rented or is it still available? Yes, what is rented?
It's rented.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just reaching out to see if you guys were at some point considering selling this or any of the properties that you have in your portfolio.
So I don't know if she has any other properties in her portfolio. I have no clue. But I'm making the assumption because in most cases, these investors, especially the way that she's handling herself, she has other properties. So I'm making that assumption. So I was curious if you have considered selling this property or any other properties that you have in your portfolio, right? So now I'm using her language. I'm speaking, now I'm on her level. So I'm basically bringing myself up so now she can talk to me and we're on the same level, right?
I'm not sure. We briefly discussed it.
When they say, I'm not sure, that means they've been talking about it. Let me back it up a little bit.
I'm not sure. We briefly discussed it, but that's about it.
Sure. Well, with the market being so hot, how could you not at least consider, right?
Right.
Sure, with the market being so hot, how could you not at least consider, right? And she said, right.
Exactly. We're just not ready to pay capital gains.
Boom. We're just not ready to pay those capital gains. Now I know she's not just has one or two rentals. She's in the market. She's in the game. She's an investor. She just doesn't want to pay the capital gains. So time for some creativity. All that tells me now is that okay, it's time to work her towards my client. It's time to work her towards converting her into a lead or possibly an appointment.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Well, I work for the Tommy Quinn team. I'm one of his assistants. What I would like to do, if you're okay with it, is have Tommy just run some numbers for you and send that over so you guys could look at the numbers and have a discussion. And if it makes sense, you can talk to Tommy when you're ready.
You know what? Why don't you look me up at about 90 days?
She thought about it. She's like, well, give me about 90 days and then maybe we'll talk about it. But no. I don't go away. I don't go away that easily.
In 90 days?
Yeah.
Would it be okay to simply just shoot you over our information so you have that on hand? Tommy would put together the numbers.
So I'm simplifying what we're doing, showing her there's not much of a commitment. Would it just be okay if I just send you some of our information? So I'm kind of backpedaling a little bit.
It wouldn't take him more than 10 minutes, and then you just email it over so you have it on hand.
Sure.
What's the best?
So she said, no problem with that. No problem. We can go that route. So I backpedaled, and so now we're in there. We're just sharing some information and keeping in touch. Well, we're only a minute and a half in. We have a minute and a half left in this conversation.
Email Kelsey.
No, ask for the
Kelsey,
email.
Kelsey.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have to mute that real quick, guys.
I have others.
Look,
Okay,
I
good.
mean, I know how it is sometimes changing, old
So I got the
email
email.
addresses.
Right. Yeah, I've had it for many years. So,
I'm making fun of her because, so I brought some humor in. Anytime anybody gives me a AOL email, I'm always going to say, so you're still using that AOL email address, and just kind of laugh at me a little bit. So what this does, guys, I mean, this is silly, but what it does is it takes the conversation over here. It takes it away from the business. So it eases things up. Everybody can lower their shoulders a little bit, right? There's nothing wrong with a little bit of humor as long as it fits in the conversation.
yeah, that's it.
I'm curious, you have this one. Do you guys have other properties?
I do.
Okay. I don't want to waste too much of your time, but my goal would be, if you're ready, when you're ready, just to connect you with Tommy, allow you guys to meet, and if you guys hit it off, he'd be available for any, analysis or when you're ready to list, that type of thing. We're just right here in Petaluma, and
We'll be ready for anything if you're just looking for an analysis on the properties, or when you're ready to list, right? So planting those seeds. We're not just trying to give you information here. We want to help you sell these properties.
we'd like to be able to make ourselves available as your go-to if needed.
Your go-to. Okay, she said okay.
So we'll shoot you over an email so you can see who Tommy is and a little bit of our marketing stuff so you see what we do with our listings. And when you're ready, I can connect you and you guys can have a coffee or a Zoom.
Now, guys, I am running on a little bit here. I need to shorten that up a little bit because she said okay. She said okay. I could have just slowed it up a little bit, but I'm trying to get more information out, but it's not quite necessary. I could have just eased it up there. She already said, okay, not a problem, let's talk.
Zoom or whatever it is you guys decide to do.
Awesome. Appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kelsey. Talk to you soon.
Alrighty. Bye bye.
So guys, 3 minutes and 3 seconds, okay? Now, this wasn't the only call I made in this call session. I was about an hour and a half in. I don't know, maybe an hour. Now, that first part of that call session, not the best. Didn't talk to a lot of people, had some negative conversations, had some bad phone numbers. I considered even stopping. I considered in my mind, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a break, right? We've all been there. But I kept pushing because I told myself that, hey, what's it gonna take? A few more calls, what's gonna happen? A few more disconnected numbers, a few more people hanging up on me, what's the big deal? And then, what do you know? We have Kelsey. So after the call, I get everything over to my clients, Tommy and Mark. They go ahead and do their due diligence on the properties. What I did is I go ahead and send a text message out to the seller with my clients attached to that, just saying thank you for the time. Here's a link to the website. Take a look at our information. And did you have any other properties that you wanted to just take a look at while we're looking at this one? So over the course of about an hour, she proceeds to send us a text message with another property. So after about an hour and a half, there's 5 properties. So we ended up having about 5 properties right now that my team is in the process of doing numbers, putting together an analysis. We're in communication with the seller. So that's always a great sign when they're communicating after the call. Sometimes you have a great call and they just disappear. You don't know what happened and you can't control that. But in this case, she's talking to us, we're communicating. So we're gonna do an analysis where we're probably gonna go out and look at one of the properties, and it's gonna be the slow play. But over the next few months, and I'll keep updating you guys on this because that's what I'm gonna do is kind of document this whole process and show you, because this is part of what I'm gonna help you guys learn how to teach you guys how to do as well. We're gonna get those listings one by one, maybe all together, but I spent 3 minutes with Kelsey, but the real work begins now, is the follow-up, doing the analysis and the paperwork, and building that relationship with her, because it's going to be about $4 million in listing volume. So that doesn't mean we're going to make that much money, but that's going to be the volume of the properties altogether, about $4 million. 3% of that, I mean, let's do the math real quick, and just to have some shits and giggles, let's just say over the next 6 months, we ended up listing all these properties, right? Let's just hypothetically, who knows what really will happen, but it's a good chance that as long as we play our cards right, that we will get these listings. That's $120,000 in gross commission. Just 3%. Now, if you get the buyer side as well, you can just do the math on that. But just the listings right there. Now, I spent 3 minutes with Kelsey. However, the real work begins many more hours that would be put into this. But $120,000 gross commission, sitting here in my living room in my studio apartment, working virtually for my clients in the Bay Area in Los Angeles. And this is also part of my training. If you're trying to learn how to build a business like I've been able to build, and have the freedom to be able to work in your home, at the beach, on the airplane, wherever you want it, I can show you guys how to do that as well. That's more of an intense training program. However, I'm available to show you guys how to do that as well. I'm Jeremy Marquez with Power Prospecting by J Marqeting. I thank you for your time. I'm going to repost this on the page in the archive for the videos. I'll put this in the private group, in the public group, and then I'll also put this on the YouTube channel as well. If you guys were looking to get some information on the training program, just hop on my calendar, shoot me a message. We'll figure out a time. We'll talk details and tell you about how it works. If you're not ready yet, just join the group. Lots of good stuff in there as well. Thanks, guys. Have a good Monday. It's about 3:45. I got about 4 hours left of dialing, and I'm going to go ahead and go back on the other page, J Marqeting, and do some lives on there and make some more calls if you want to come check it out. Have a good day.